Hey folks, Quill18 here, and welcome to an episode of Let's Play A Valley Without Wind. This is a game by an indie game developer called Arkin Games, who I like a lot because they made a game called AI War, which I simply adore, and it's actually an absolute crime that I haven't done a Let's Play for it yet because it's such an excellent game. Definitely check it out if you can. This is a beta. They actually just released their public beta for their new game, Valley Without Wind. It has a lot left in development. So there's plenty of things in this game that are still missing, but it's still a surprisingly fun game to play. It's available. If you go to their website right now, you should be able to get the demo version of their beta. You can also you can pre-purchase the full game. It'll be half price. It'll be $10 instead of $20, and it'll unlock the full beta for you. This game is very hard to describe. It is a combination. Obviously, seems to be a 2D game. This is my starting village here, so it's a safe environment. It's a 2D sort of platformer game. That's also a city building game, an empire management game. It has building sort of mechanics reminiscent of Minecraft and Terraria. It has action RPG elements reminiscent of like Diablo. You have spellcasting, combat. There's experience points, but instead of you leveling up directly, what you're actually doing is leveling up your civilization. There has been a terrible cataclysm on some fictional world, and humanity is trying to rebuild from scratch, basically. And that's why we're in this very, very basic village. Just a few survivors have scraped together, and you have to go up and rebuild the world, basically. And I'm going to leave the village here and show you the strategic map. Which is here, and I can wander around the world, different areas. If I right-click on it, you can get some details. We have special things, like here there's a rare commodity dungeon that holds a memory crystal over here. And over here we've got some rampaging monsters that if I don't do anything about, they'll eventually come to my village and try to sack it. Here we have a supply of, we have a cedar grove, a supply of lumber, that if I clear out the guardian monsters, then we'll be able to take advantage of that in our settlement. It is absolutely insane, the scope of this game. Everything about the game is procedurally generated. Again, if I can compare it to Minecraft, when you first start playing Minecraft, the first thing you have to do is tell it to generate a new world. Well, that is what I had to do here. You then pick a character. It gives you a list of 6 possible characters randomly generated to choose from. And death in this game is permanent. If you die, your character is dead. However, your world continues, and you can select a new character and continue in your world. Because you're leveling up your civilization and not your character, dying is not the end of the world because you haven't lost your progress. So I've been playing this one a little while. What I've done is actually, and I think I want to go here, is, if I recall correctly, yeah, I went and explored a little bit about the world. So this is a sort of wilderness area. If I use my basic fire punch or fire fist spell here, I can actually kill some trees, which drops some lumber, which I'll be able to use for some construction. I've gone around. There are some remnants, some old buildings, some old ruins. I've explored a few of them and stocked up on health potions and magic potions to help me on a somewhat more intense endeavor. And what I want to do now, this particular map, which I've partially explored this zone, has some underground caves. And underground caves have gem and ore deposits. And that is like one of my more intense spells, which I just want to show off. It's very, very expensive, but it tends to one-shot everything. It moves slowly, but it penetrates and has super long range. Oh, that's my double jump. I'll show you again. These are just spells that I've chosen to customize my character with. What was I going to say? Oh, yeah, gems. I can find gems in caves deep underground, and they are very useful for a variety of things. Some things are building material, like I might find some stone or obsidian, and some things, the gems are used to power spells. There's 2 types. There's these sorts of underground areas, which are very shallow. They're near the surface. Sometimes they have stuff, but not often. They don't. You check them out, 'cause sometimes they have a little something, maybe a little gem dust, but very rarely do they have actual gem deposits. You can see the mini-map up here, and I can bring up a little bit bigger. This is the specific region that I'm in. Also in the bottom right corner, this is a sort of bigger area map. This region, the map region that I picked, actually has 5 subregions. I came in the first one, number 1, and if I keep traveling east, I can hit more and more of them. But this one here, if I mouse over, it's a surface with caves. Ooh, it got dark. I actually have a light spell, which I will use to illuminate this area, which will be very important for actually the next area here. If I check out right here, there is a tunnel to an underground caverns, which is a much deeper area. Here's a building, by the way. I'll show you. I can enter this building. It's still early in the beta. They don't have. They want to populate this with furniture. But this is the building. You can see the map down here changed, although I can still toggle. So this is the region map. This is the surface. But this is the map of the dungeon that I'm in. And I've already explored this whole area and looted all the potions and things. But it's got multiple floors, and it's populated with monsters. There's some more of these spark things, but they've got some different monsters in here. And they want to populate with furniture. And it's quite maze-like to go through and very, very interesting. But the underground caverns are much, much, much more intense to explore. Just absolutely ridiculous. Oh, something I keep forgetting to mention. It's very important. This game, in the beta is single player only. They're just focusing on the single player, but this game is a multiplayer game. You will be able to play this game with more than one person, co-op, and you will work cooperatively to try to build up your settlement. I don't know the details because that hasn't been released yet, but I believe the idea is you can explore in completely different directions and do your own thing, or you can work together to clear out a dungeon. And that is very interesting. Someone can run a server, and you can just rebuild civilization with your friends. It's kind of like playing through Fallout, except actually being productive and changing the world. There are NPCs to recruit and all these things. Anyway, without further ado, let me bring up this mini-map again. These little dots, the blue is me. A green is an explored exit, and that's actually where I came in from, this little hole in the wall here. Red is an unexplored exit or connection from this zone. Now, down here, the little blue diamond, that's where I am. So I am in this region. I'm in Underground Caverns number 1. And adjacent to this is Underground Cavern number 2. And adjacent to that is number 4. You automatically scout the next 2 regions, so you get an idea of what's around. But what's interesting here is I've only scouted 8% of the area. So if I've scouted 3 of them, that's 8%, then there's well over 30 smaller areas within these one underground caverns. I've only visited 2%, which means like 50, but rounding, we'll find out. But these underground areas are gargantuan, and once I hit a few more of these areas, you're going to see it's going to scout a lot more little areas, and you'll see exactly how intense it is. Oh, here's my character. My name is Dayton Dancy. That was automatically generated. I've got some stats. Level, hour of the day, time just flows by. There's a night and day cycle, which doesn't tend to do much yet, but it will have an effect. There are also strategic turns. You can explore as much as you want, just run around. The world won't sort of advance while you're in this mode. But when you're back in town, you can advance things on a strategic map at a sort of macro level, and things will actually progress. The world will change around you. Anyway, let me shrink this down. And so what I'm going to do is for all these cavern areas, I'm going to make sure to scout the whole area, just to see if there's anything sitting around, loot I want to pick up, and then I'm going to start checking out these different exits and seeing things. So mostly I'm wandering around. There are little wooden platforms. I don't know how well you can see once I shrink this down to YouTube resolution, but they're little wooden platforms. Basically, people have inhabited some of these caves before. You'll see random buildings below ground sometimes, but they no longer live here, presumably. I can also build some of these platforms. So number 6, I've got wooden platforms here, so I can click 6. Oops, 6. There we go. There you go. And I can build my own platforms. These are a little bit bigger. I can drop through them like, a lot of platformers if I want. And just keep climbing around. Because I have the ability to double jump, I don't actually tend to need to build a lot of platforms. I just picked up something called a consciousness shard. Those don't do anything for me in this mode, but they're the sort of currency... Oh! What the hell was there? Oh, did I just accidentally double jump? They're the currency to fund your strategic turns, actually. Yeah, that was my double jump effect. And so it becomes very important for that mode later on. Right down here. So on my minimap, I can see a light green, and there are crystals right here. And if I hit these are quartz rocks outcrop. So I'm going to smash this up and get some quartz crystals. Here we go, quartz rock, which are used for some sort of crafting. I'm not sure what, because I haven't explored that far into the game yet. And not all the items are in the game yet either. There aren't a lot of recipes at this time. There are a good collection of spells, but not that many items to construct. There are suits. Like, I'm actually in a cold-resistant suit that I'm wearing right now, because otherwise, any other character exploring the tundra areas here would actually take damage, like, every minute. they would hardly survive. They would actually die quite quickly. But I have a suit for that. So I'm going to explore this exit here, which will require me to do a little hop and click to get through. And I'm going to... There we are. Takes a little second to transition sometimes. Because I've just transitioned, you see this blue spark around me? Nothing can injure me right now, nothing until I move. So you have always got a moment to sort of get your bearings as your computer transitions from one screen to another. So I'm on my second map. I've got 4% explored. So this is making me think there's going to be almost 50 sub-maps in this area. There's a leaper here who just died. He probably fell in a pool of acidic water. I'm going to drop down as far as I can here without dying. And indeed, there it is. Environmental damage affects everyone. So yeah, water is acidic. There's been a horrible, horrible, horrible cataclysm. And not just like, you know, nuclear war, sort of global warming cataclysm. No, the world's been like fragmented and shattered and rearranged through time. So I represent someone from a Ice Age civilization. From Century, Ice Age. That's where my person is. Now this is a technological Ice Age. It's not like the Ice Age that was on Earth where everyone was just like cavemen or whatever. So it is a more developed Ice Age as far as I can tell. And in fact, there are plenty of buildings from the Ice Age. But I can meet NPCs from completely different eras of humanity. And that can have like huge repercussions. You can see here there's a cloth, or there's no falling damage by the way. Clotheslines set up. So clearly some people lived down here at some point. I picked up some more consciousness crystals. Just going to check out this area down here. Oh, you may be wondering why I'm not engaging all the enemies. Normal enemies don't give you any experience points. So it becomes a question of how do you preserve your resources the best while wandering around. First of all, don't accidentally double jump all the time because that costs you mana. That one was intentional. So you want to either avoid your enemies where you can if you don't take damage from them, or you want to kill them with the minimal effort possible. The melee range spell doesn't cost mana. I can punch like this all day long, but of course it's quite difficult to kill things. Now down here on the minimap, you'll see most of these areas are orange, which are sort of normal dungeons. I don't know if you can tell, there's a black line through this one which says I haven't explored. Not that it really matters too much, because if I mouse over it also tells me never visited. This one, however, I have visited, so is this, and I can teleport to any one that I've already visited just by clicking on it, and that simply costs me one of these warp scrolls, which actually maybe I should have brought more with me, but it'll be fine. So you don't have to worry about being so deep and like, oh, how do I get out of here? You can always get back out. Very nice feature. I like it. Now this one is orange. This is an underground cavern with a boss. There is a boss in this area, which I want to get to, because generally these boss zones, sometimes they have good loot by themselves, but often they lead to another area that specifically has, say, a gem vein, for example. So I definitely want to check those out, make them top priority. I think... Oh, there's an outcropping of rock over here. Granite outcrop. I'll smash that. I can't really tell it super well on this screen. Ooh, I'll kill two birds with one stone. But that's why I keep an eye on my mini-map, which maybe I'll keep big for you guys, because it'll probably be a lot easier to see on YouTube. I find this a little too big to play with. I can see it just fine when it's small, but I suspect on YouTube you have a harder time. Oop, a little acid water there. And actually, if I stand in the acid water for a sec, you'll see there's a message over here. And that's broadcast, I think, to everyone in the multiplayer. There's quite a lot that just shows up here that makes it quite obvious it's a time-stamped multiplayer message. What is this? Orange. Oh, there was something sitting there, a piece of granite. Okay. And I'm going to go through this hole, go through another area here. Oh yeah, now this area is quite big and the map is too big. I may have to shrink it down. It's actually covering up the play area. That's no good. So let's wander downwards a little bit. Whoops! Acid water is no good. It's a good thing I got a fair number of mana potions, plus I actually made some magic scrolls as well in town, just to be sure. I try to avoid using the scrolls when possible, because they actually cost resources to put together. I need to use some gem dust to make the scrolls for mana and health. But I wanted them as a backup. Yeah, I can kill these mushrooms and things. I don't think they drop anything. I wanted them as a backup in case I run out of potions, but ideally I'll use the potions first, since I can just find them scattered around the world. Let's explore up first. There's a red dot down there. That's a portal out of this zone, so I'd rather explore the empty areas first. make sure there's nothing left in here before I move on. And doesn't look like it. Nope. The purple, by the way, those are spawn spots. Oop, my light ran out. Just gonna recast that. I like having it on all the time. Lasts for 10 minutes. And the purple are spawn zones for monsters. They'll keep spawning there. They're little totem things, so you want to stay away from them. You can't destroy them, but there is a spell you can use to temporarily turn them off for like 5 minutes or something like that. And a lot of the spells, they, or potentially all the spells actually, scale up as your civilization level increases. You guys just get better at your knowledge and your magic, and you just get better at everything. So your spells last longer or do more damage. Your character also gets more health. Everything you sort of expect from leveling up. Is that a consciousness shard? Yep, grab that. I see, oh, green up there is where I came in. So, a little acid, but not in there long enough to take damage. I believe my suit's also, oops, heat resistant. It's like a perfectly air-conditioned suit in every way, climate controlled. So that'll be important later because there's desert terrain. Like this, you know, all this terrain you're seeing is a little homogeneous because the level 1 zones that I started in are all, really, there's nothing of note in here except for the one exit. It's such a large area. All the level 1 zones are these sort of Ice Age zones, so they're going to look fairly similar to one another until I start wandering out. I'm wasting so much mana, which I'm going to need. Oops, I dropped from the hole, which was up here. I dropped into the acid, but as long as I hadn't moved yet, I wasn't going to take any damage, so they don't screw you that way. I think the transition between the scenes could be a little smoother, but it's more of like, it's just a slight visual delay. You know, you'll still see your guy in the other zone falling, and then all of a sudden you're like, oh, I'm now in this zone. So it looks a little odd, but it's not actually a problem, and I'm not actually going to complain about it. It's the sort of thing that maybe just needs, it will probably get a little bit of polish before the release. Less about it needing, and more I expect it will probably get a little bit more polish. But I think some of it has to do with the client-server architecture they probably put together as an artifact of this is going to be a multiplayer game. So there, you know, can be a little bit of lag sometimes doing the scene change, but that's because it's communicating back to a server. Even though you're playing in a single-player experience, the way these things are programmed is, even if you're playing single-player, on your computer you have a server process running in the background, and your character just acts as a client to that server process. It's the easiest way to implement this. And this may not be working exactly like that. I don't mean a literal necessary server process as a second program, but just in sort of logic flow is often the way it works. So we're going to go to another cavern. You can see I've actually moved. I was following this branch, and the caverns do tend to connect to their neighbor, but I don't know if you can see, there's a little white line on this zone, and if I mouse over it says there's a side link, and that's what's happened here. Rather than continue just down this branch, which actually may have been a dead end, there happened to be a side branch that knocked me way over here. So yeah, time to keep exploring. I'm low on mana, but I'm actually fine with running out at this point. I can just drink a mana potion. Apparently I can't quite fit that way. I can drink a mana potion whenever I need to, and I want to avoid drinking it because I'm just going to keep wasting it with these accidental double jumps. Actually, what I could have done is I can take my double jump skill, which is called Ride the Lightning, put it on my secondary action sheet, and now it won't actually activate anymore. Which is probably good, since I don't really need it much. Although, ow, I just took a lot of damage there for no good reason. There is another cool feature in this game where if you take lethal damage, if you take damage that would kill you, and your potions aren't on cooldown, it will automatically drink a potion for you to keep you alive. Which is nice because, again, this is hardcore. If you lose your character, you're just dead. But the cooldown, if it uses it automatically, is very long. So it's always better to use it manually in an intelligent fashion. I'm trying to hold off for now, just up until I get lower, because I'm pretty sure this will heal me to full. Oh yeah, right-clicking on it actually uses the thing. I was trying to get information, but you have to open inventory mode and then get information. Oh well. So I drank it and I'm full health again. Alright. A little bit of waste, but I have a lot of health potions. I'm actually not as worried about the health pots as I am mana, since I tend to go through it pretty freely accidentally, plus boss fights. Really mana intensive. Again, your actual exploration here, since you don't need to kill the enemies, there was really not much in this whole zone. Alright, well, we'll go through the other door. Since you don't have to fight the enemies, you don't tend to use that much mana. Save for accidental double jumps. So it looks like I've backed up here. So there should be 2 exits here, both leading to bosses. And if I'm over the tile, it'll tell me. Yeah, see, this is going to go to Underground Cavern with boss number 22. And this one is Underground Cavern with boss number 23. So let's just double check the map around here, make sure there's nothing interesting before we go to a boss fight. And we'll see how that goes. Should be pretty well equipped for the boss fight. As long as I don't just get bursted down. I will want to re-engage my double jump, and I will want to drink a mana potion beforehand. I don't think there's anything here. Nope. Drop down, drop down, drop down. Not into the acid. That would be bad. Alright. Oh, there's another hole over here, too. Underground Cavern number 11. Alright. So, we're going to go fight our first boss. So, drink a mana potion. Return my double jump. And let's go. So, not only are there, like, big bosses, there's also mini-bosses that are going to spawn here, and they'll all engage. Oof. There's my big death spell, which does a lot of damage and goes through things. Ooh, they do the darkness thing around them. I'm gonna... Oh, shoot, I almost died there. I also have this... Oh, that is... My problem with my big death spell, it's got a huge, huge cooldown. It's actually better if I can get away with this cross spell. Ah! Oh, my potion just got auto-used, so all my stuff's on cooldown now. That's not great. Yeah, this ice cross does pretty good damage, but it's short range, obviously. God, they hurt. But that does better burst, and if I can get the mini-bosses to line up, I'll be much better off. The Mega Nuke also uses a lot of mana. There we go. 2 bosses killed. Is that all of them? I think so. Man, those guys hurt like hell. And you can see spamming my spells uses a lot. Little palisades. So again, some people were here at some point. So the boss levels often have some loot, but even if they don't, they should be guarding. Yeah, down here on the minimap you can see, ooh, there's some yellow areas. One has a gold vein, one has an Ilari stone. Neutral Ilari shelter lost humans, and usually consent to heal your health and magic. Oh. Okay. So we're definitely going to want to find that. Oh, right here we've got some gems too. Another quartz outcrop. Move that. And we've got an exit over here, which I will wait before I actually venture through. Die! I think that thing's got a short cooldown. And it knocks them back a little when you hit them, so even if you're not bothering to kill them, sometimes it can give you enough breathing room to just get by the non-boss monsters. Okay, so really is there just one exit from here? Ah, to the one Ilari stone. Alright, that's fine. Oh yeah, down this way I think it was. And through the doorway. So, we'll see what that's like. I've never found one just in the wilderness, I don't think. So what do we have? We have another exit over here? Oh no, that's where I came in. Durr. And... Background noise is a little weird. I keep hearing, like, screaming voices. People panic. Which is certainly thematically appropriate. Yay, you healed me! Thank you. Use magic, I am magic. Understand the stark difference. Yes. Is that it? Just neutral? Okay. And there's a blip on the map here. So, well, that's probably an Ilari stone, but there's another blip down here.